builders, parents, and collectors. On this episode of the Creation Evaluation Station, we're going to be evaluating this big boy. Yes, it's time for another mech review, and it's a pretty cool one, a pretty unique one, the Fire Stone Mech. It's half fire and half stone between Kai and Cole. Before I get into it any further, I just want to let new viewers know that I do in-depth reviews of models and construction kits, both new and old, mostly Lego, but other products as well. I also do reviews and discussions of other creative works, such as movies, video games, and animation. Because these are in-depth reviews, they can be on the long side, so make sure you're using the timestamps down here on the red bar and in the description to jump around to your favorite parts or to use as bookmarks to come back to at a later time. No problem if you won't be offended if you don't watch all the little parts and all the figure reviews. If you just jump to the main review, that's awesome. And I hope you'll enjoy this. So, getting down to this big boy's details, it's set number 71720. It's for ages 9 and up, has 968 pieces, and retailed for $69.99 originally. Now it's been discontinued. It was released in January of 2020. So, take a closer look at this box. Pretty nice artwork there. Nice action scene they got going on with the mech. And there is the back. Pretty awesome. It's definitely going to be a different mech. It's one thing that always not problem, but the repetitiveness of building a robot or even a creature where the left side and the right side are just mirror images. It's a little boring, just repeating steps you've already completed. But this one, we get something a little bit different. Although I think the main inner body is pretty much the same. It's the outside that changes up a little bit. But this is definitely going to be a very unique and different mech. So I'm looking forward to it. So let's head on out and see what's inside this box. Here we have the contents of the box. And we've got a sticker sheet inside of the instruction booklet bag. Not too many stickers. And the instruction booklet is in magazine format and is nice and thick. So got a little pamphlet here for Legoland. And we have a bag 1, a bag 2, a bag 3, a bag 4, a bag 5, a bag 6. But wait, there's more. Bag 7, bag 8, and then we have this stray brick, plate that's floating around. All my bags feel like they're sealed, so I don't know. We'll find out when we get done if this is an extra piece or not. Here we have the contents of bag 1, except for this little plate right here. This is the one that was floating around the box. We got our brick separator here. Got quite a few pieces in here. A bunch of hinges and plates, dozen side pieces, and a lot of little pieces. Coal is in here. We got more of these green flame pieces they like in this wave so much. I think they're kind of cool myself. Yeah, a lot of little pieces in this. Even the bigger pieces aren't super big. There's quite a bit here. Here we have the contents of bag 2. Got a bunch of larger pieces in this one. Round circles, and we have squares. And the old classic spinner piece. Got a trans orange canopy piece here. Covered a cockpit, I'm sure. Quite a bit other plates in here. There's not as many pieces as the last bag. We've got 2 of our bad guys here, the trolls or whatever they're supposed to be. Bunch of small pieces, some gold stuff. Lacquer de gold, and some orange transparent pyramids. But yeah, that's bag 2. Not quite as much as the last one. Here we have the contents of bag 3, and a lot of larger pieces of this, but still not quite as many as that first bag. We have some interesting things in here. We have an Exonite shield in brown, and we have this weird little bracket piece, Technic piece. Bunch of plates. You should be up there with those. Got a good amount of small stuff. Studs on side pieces here. Some gold stuff again. We have some weird colored stuff over here. I'm guessing they're internal parts. So yeah, that's quite a bit there. Here we have the contents of bag 4. Got some more hinges. Got another one of those weird pieces. I'm guessing it's part of an arm and a leg. That's why we have 2. Although the arms and legs aren't exactly mirror images of each other. Kai is in this, and this is the first set we've seen Kai in. Got a lot of cool sloped pieces, studs on side, more weird green, lime green pieces for internal parts, I'm guessing, and blue as well, because blue really isn't part of this color scheme. Yeah, there's a lot of small stuff in this. Here we have bag 5, and we have some really interesting pieces. I have never seen these before. They're, you know, part of the ball and socket joint system, but they have a weird connection on the bottom. I don't know if they're supposed to connect within one another or what. And I don't see like a regular Lego connection. It's a strange thing. We also have some tires over here, so I guess we're probably doing the feet, and those are used as friction for the bottom. We have larger lime green pieces. They're growing, people. They're growing. I don't know. Probably more internal parts, though. We have more of them in the smaller form that we've been seeing them in. And some sorted hinges and more studs on side pieces. Typical stuff you'd expect. That is bag 5. We have over halfway there. Here we have a bag 6. We got some plates. We got a lot of different things in here. More hinges, plates, studs on side pieces, a lot of little knick-knack type pieces. We got more weird colored green pieces, which I've started putting it together. Yes, they are internal parts. But hey, you can get some weird green pieces in here. No figures in this one. Got a lot of smaller pieces here in gold. Angle pieces and such. That's that. Here we have bag 7. We're almost done. Got some more hinges. We got a large piece there. Technic parts. Well, not too much in this one except for some smaller pieces. Got some plates, but not a lot. A lot of small pieces, especially over here. A lot of repeats. We got tons of these angle pieces and 1x2s and stuff like that. Nothing of amazing note. We got weird colors here. Again, the green. And we're almost done here. We have the last bag, and boy, do we have some interesting things in here. For starters, we have the sword piece in this dark gray color, which that is probably unique. It may be in some other sets, but pretty sure it's unique because most of the time we see it in gold, and we've seen it in gold lots of times. We got not too much left here. This is the last bag, but we got some more plates, some more wing pieces. It'll been a lot of these flag pieces, whatever you want to call them. We got this thing, which I don't know if this is a piece from like the Hero Factory stuff. I'm not familiar with it. Let me know if you've seen it before, but I'm really happy it's printed. I saw that there was a design, and I'm like, I hope that's not a sticker, because that's a round surface and they're a pain to put on. But that looks beautiful. We also have one more character in here, Nia, which I didn't realize she was in here. Last but not least, poor thing, got left behind. It's an afterthought. Got a lot of small dots and things. And this is what I'm most excited about. Did not know this was in here. It's a pack of golden weapons. Looking at the package, it only looks like it only looks like it uses one of these. So that means all these are extra. And this is the first time I've seen it in gold. I don't know if any of the other sets, none of the smaller sets had these. But yeah, we've seen these. I've seen these in white and in green, but not in gold. So that is really sweet. Let's go finish this puppy up. Here we have the leftover parts, and we have a lot to talk about here. First, let's start with the boring stuff. Brick separator. If you've already got one of these, it's double. Here are the regular duplicate pieces. We have a lot of good stuff here. I mean, we've got weapons, and we even have enough pieces that you can make a duplicate of Nia's weapon in here. Got a bunch of transparent pieces here. Oh, well, a couple. And that lovely green flame again, and an orange pyramid. We've got a rod, a lightsaber hilt, a whole bunch of, there's the tip of her weapon there. On top of that, we have leftover ammo in transparent orange from the stud shooters in this set. And then I have this weird leftover. This is not a normal leftover, and I looked through the instructions over and over and I could not figure out where it went, so I guess it's a leftover. It's an odd one that I don't think they meant to put in. But there's even one more stranger leftover, and that's this here. It is a 1x4 brown brick. It was floating outside all the bags. None of the bags were open. And there is no other piece in this set that is this color. So it's really an extra piece that happened to fall in the box when it was being packaged up. I've never seen this happen before. This is very, very strange. Let me know if you have, and also let me know if you're missing 1x4 plate. I probably have it if it came out of another set. And we still have more, because we have golden weapons left over. Yes, there was a weapons pack with golden weapons, and we did not use them all. So we have quite a bit left over here. Not everything. Although there's some of the pieces aren't really being used in the set. They're actually hidden away, so you could use them for other things as well. So this is a lot of leftover stuff. Here's our cast of characters for this set. And there's quite a few here, and I got them really crammed in tight because I want to get them all done at once. But the thing is, these two bad guys here in the end are almost exactly the same figure. The only difference is the weapons they're carrying, and that this guy has a shoulder pad type armor, that leather armor, I guess you would call it, that he's probably signifies that he's higher up in the rankings. But other than that, they're exactly the same, so we don't need to talk too much about them. We can talk about the ninjas here. We've seen everybody here before except for Kai. And Kai, I mean, he's cool with his golden armor, but I'm a little disappointed in his weapon, which is just a butter knife with an extra handle extended on the end. Kind of boring. One thing I need to note, and I didn't note in the last video, the first two videos I did, first two sets, well, the first one didn't even have any of the ninjas in it. It just had Wu in it. But the second one had 3 ninjas in it. 2, 3, I think 3. But they all had the silver shields. Now the last one had a gold shield in it, but I never pointed out the fact that there's a different print on the gold shield. I never even looked at it close. I assumed it was the same shield. But yes, the gold shields have lions on them, while the silver ones have a dragon. So that's interesting thing to note. It's always good to have more variety. I think it would have been cooler if each ninja had their own shield individually printed. That would have been really cool, but this is nice too. This is gives us some differences. Other than that, Cole's weapon's really cool, but we've seen that in a previous video. We've seen Nia's, the bad guys are okay. I kind of like this built-up weapon, but I think they could have done something similar with just one of their standard old weapons, but, you know, gives a little bit of variety. So we're going to strip them down of all their armor so we can see their prints a lot better. We've got all their gear removed, and now we can see their prints a lot better. And Kai, this is the first time seeing Kai, and he has got an amazing golden line on his chest. That looks absolutely beautiful. Matches the shield they have. Cole here looks good. We've seen him before. He's also got a little tiger in the corner of his. And Nia looks pretty awesome with her shiny silver prints. They got leg prints on all of them. Though Kai's legs are a little less impressive than the other ones, but hey, he's got that awesome chest. 2 golden arms as well. Now we have these 2 troll goblins or orcs. I don't think they're definitely not goblins. I think they're supposed to be trolls. Trolls are green, right? Like I said, they're exactly the same. The only difference was the armor piece. I have no problems with that. I mean, you want a large army of trolls, and so they can look the same. That's fine. They don't all have to be different. I don't know how many we're going to get throughout the whole wave. The more the merrier, I say. You can always use more goblins, trolls, orcs, whatever. Need the army of the horde. The backs, I'm really impressed. They got nice, like, patterning on the back. I didn't even notice any of that on the front. No, it's just their abs and stuff. But yeah, they got some interesting, like, tattoos and stuff on their back. It's kind of cool. On the backs of our ninjas here, they got, oh yeah, these only have one face, although they got that printing on their head as well. It's on their back a little bit later. But our ninjas looking pretty snazzy. Although Kai's back is really simple. He's in it. This is an interesting figure, the Kai one. He's got that big old line on the front. I think they spent all their print money on that. Gave him poor legs, and the back is kind of simplified. Although it makes sense. It's like that's a gold chest plate, and it's strapped around the back, so it doesn't not work. It just seems rather simple compared to, you know, Nia and Cole's here. Although Nia's on the simpler side too. There's not a lot towards the bottom, but still a lot of nice printing on these. And you got their happier faces on the back. So yeah, a beautiful set of characters here. First time seeing Kai's. We've seen everybody now, I believe. Yeah, except for maybe some bad guys. I think we've seen all the ninjas now, yeah, including Wu. So let's get on to the review. Alright, we've got everything assembled here. But we've already looked at the minifigures, so we are going to be putting those aside for now, except for Cole and Kai, for reasons we'll see here in a moment. But first, before we get on to the big guy here, we're going to look at the little side build. There's not much to it. We got our little green fire that they like to put in all these sets, and the cool weapon that everybody's after. Or one of 2 cool weapons. Because there's a black and white one and a white and black one. Both pretty cool, just different colors. Reverse color schemes. But, yeah, that's nothing really to write home about. It's just something to hold the sword that everybody's chasing after. Sword's really cool, and it's nice to get another one, even though it really doesn't need to be in this set. And a little plot of land really doesn't work much for dungeon play. I mean, I guess you could just add it in to the rest of the dungeon pieces. But that's that. Not much to say more. or less. It's a nice little touch. It also gives something for everybody to an objective in this set. They're trying to get the sword while maybe the bad guys there are trying to defend it or after it themselves. I'm not sure what the story is in this wave, but either way, it gives you something for an objective. Now, moving on to the big guy here. We'll start with the cockpit, which is why I wanted to keep these guys here. First, you pull back the head, which the head and neck goes all the way back. And you've got to remove these guys' weapons. There's just not going to fit in there with all these bulky weapons. Now, you don't have to take off their armor, although Kai kind of fits in there a little awkwardly because of the little gold clip on the back. Although you can take these off. And you can set Cole down in there. He's got a 2x2 area to sit in the front. I mean, you could put Kai here too. It's up to you. But there is room in here for 2 characters. I'm going to leave Kai's armor on, and you'll see what happens is, and he can stand up behind Cole. Well, what happens is he ends up getting pushed forward because of the thing on his back, so he ends up being bent forward. Now you could take those clips off or take the armor completely off if you wanted to. And you close it back up. And you got a 2-seater. Now you can see their heads in there, fortunately. It's not perfect, but I think that's fine. I know some people don't like that. The helmet here looks awesome, and this is a print, which is really nice. We do have quite not a few, there's a couple stickers in here, and I really don't think they're entirely necessary. It looks fine without them, but there's also prints as well. You got the helmet print, which I'm very thankful for, because putting a sticker on that round piece would be a pain. And then, on top of that, we have this printed piece here. This angular rock piece is two-toned. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's printed. I mean, maybe it's dual molded, but either way, it comes in 2 colors. And we have a second one here on the wrist, which is a nice touch. There are some larger stickers, like for the shoulder pad here, that kind of mimics the paint, the print here, the pattern. And I think on some of these smooth parts on the red side, there are also some gold printing as well. So, moving on to posability, like this opens and closes, but the head really doesn't move much at all. We have shoulder click hinges with pretty good range movement there. It can't go all the way down or reach all the way in front of itself because of the way that touches in there. If you can see, it hits in there, but it rotates around that pretty good, and you can lift the arm up. You can't go up over its head that way, but you can this way. And once again, it'll be at an angle because of the curve there. And so the shoulder pads are on joints as well, so that's nice. You can move them around, but they also have a hidden feature, which I think this is really cool, because the shoulder pads can open up all the way and reveal some weapon storage, where you've got some golden weapons there on the shoulder. Now maybe the golden weapons are also empowering the vehicle, but that's up to your imagination. But yeah, they're there for emergency use if you need them. Those peek out a little bit on this side. The ones on the other side, which, yes, it's a bit different shoulder, but it also contains storage for weapons. I probably should switch these around, put the shorter ones over there and the longer ones here, because the longer ones, this is a longer piece here, it would cover it up a little better. But still pretty cool. That's nice. You got storage. And moving back down the arms, we have an elbow, and it can also swivel there as well. Good range of motion. We don't have a wrist swivel. These are solid, although like I said, you can rotate it at the elbow instead. And then we got posable fingers here, And you kind of need the fingers to hold things in place, because you see the peg hole there, pin hole. These don't actually use pins to hold it in place. It uses the rod joint. So it will sit there, but it'll move and it'll also slide out. And you need the fingers to hold it back in to keep it from falling out. And the same goes to the other side, even though the hand is slightly different build, which is still cool. They're really big, knuckly looking things with only like 2 fingers and a thumb. But once again, it's the same sword basically, just different color blade, and it's only got the rod there, which means it'll slide in and out this way, which means you need to make sure your fingers are closed. Other than that, they hold pretty good, and they wiggle a little bit, just back and forth, but they're not going to fall out once you got the fingers closed. These fingers don't quite tighten up as much as this, but it's not going to fall out. It just gives it a little bit more wiggle. So that is the arms. Moving down to the legs, we have the hips here rotate, and they also splay out slightly to the side. That lets you get a nice heroic stance. And we have no knee hinges, and I'm going to talk more about them in a moment, but we also have ankle hinges, so you can get that really dynamic wide pose like that stance. And like I said, they also rotate to and fro. So because of the lack of the joints, front to back joints here in the legs, you are not going to get it to balance really in any kind of running pose, which is a shame, but it's not terrible either, because for one, this is a very solid mech, and which means you're going to have kids that can play with it without worrying about it breaking and things falling off it. So that is one advantage to this. This is a very playable mech, not a very posable mech. Now, it also doesn't have knee joints, which is fine. I've had plenty of them. Plenty of mechs don't have knee joints, and they're okay. My problem with this is the angle that they have them on. For one, the upper leg is much longer than the lower leg, so it has a bit of a weird appearance that way. And he always looks like he's squatting, whether you have the legs splayed out or not. You always have that kind of a bend there at the leg, and the strange proportion here. Almost feels like they need to turn the leg around the other way, although it doesn't quite work that way. And yeah, so he's always kind of in a bent position, and you really can't make much poses with him. But like I said, he's solid. It's a good, solid design, and the legs look good. I mean, the way they're shaped and everything else looks really sweet, which is almost why I give the weird proportions in the leg and the weird angle a pass. Before I head back to the desk for a final evaluation, let's look at the back here. It's not too much interesting back here. I mean, it would have been nice if they put some kind of things back here that allowed you to hold the weapons. Now let's head back to the desk. Give this a final evaluation. It's final eval time. First, my overall thoughts. This is pretty awesome. It's a very solid set. It can be played with the younger kids, I think, easily played with. It's got a good solid legs base, and moves where it needs to move. And overall, it's got some awesome figures. It's awesome build, very eye-catching and interesting looking despite its duality. Which, let's slide it over so you can see a little bit better of its two-toned appearance. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And talk about more here with the final evaluation. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, as far as appearance, you got a whole bunch of figures here that look absolutely awesome. The side build, well, whatever. It's not much to look at, but it's not bad. And it's got this awesome sword that does look awesome. Appearance-wise, I really like this. It came together very interesting, despite the weird split down the middle color scheme. Not quite down the middle, it's more off to the side a little bit. But it looks really good, despite that strange choice or decision. I understand why. It has something to do with the two ninjas combining their powers or whatever to form this guy or summon him, something like that. And the overall design and shaping of this looks amazing. It's just awesome. You definitely get a sense that this is a rockier side. Although the red side could, I don't know if it's, well, it is supposed to be a Fire Stone Mech, so maybe this could use a little bit more flame, so to speak. But red implies fire. As far as appearance goes, I gave this a 10. Hands down. Now, moving on to functions. This one was a little bit harder because it's got some cool stuff in it, like the hidden weapons under the shoulder pads that move up out of the way. The arms work pretty good. I mean, you maybe would want these to come down flat against the sides and even maybe move across the chest some. Would be an interesting modification project, but that aside, we're dealing with the functions here. But the arms are still have plenty of motion to get plenty of action poses and in play. Just, you know, chopping action. Hwah, hwah, hwah. You got that there. And the stability of the lower half of the body allows for that too without it falling over. But the lower half of the body is where the function kind of, you can't do a lot of posing with it. It does have, like I said, good sound structure. It's not going to topple over. It's not going to fall. And it can look good, even though it's got some weird, it's permanently bent at a weird angle. And even has maybe a little bit of strange proportions as well. Yeah, the function was hard because there's some cool stuff here, and then there's some meh stuff here. And I almost think I know why they did it. It just to make it easier for kids to play with. So I ended up giving it a 9. Definitely, there's a lot of good stuff here. I just kind of took a point off for the legs, but you know, that's subjective to some extent as well, because there's some posability here, and it may have been done with purpose. So moving on to fun. You're gonna, like I said, this is very playable, and it's heavy. It's doesn't have a lot of little pieces that'll fall off, so it's structurally pretty sound and good for play. The only problem with this set more has to do with the figures. You got only 2 bad guys, and they don't really have a build. You have the sword here in the little stone, but this is more of an objective than it is like a weapon or a creature or something that the bad guys can use to help fight against the good guys. And the good guys, there's 3 of them, plus the giant mech, so there's a little imbalance there. Other than that, though, this is a lot of fun. The robot's going to be a lot of fun for kids to play. The hidden weapons, the cockpit, where you can put 2 characters in it. I forgot to mention that earlier. A cockpit with room for 2 in a mech is pretty good. I ended up giving this a 9 as well. Now, as far as techniques, there's a lot of good stuff here. There's all the different little techniques they use to design the shaping for like the legs, the armor, the hands, and make it look good. It looks so good. And that came down to techniques and the use of parts here, like the head here. This is a weapon here that's used for these golden eyes, and I think that looks amazing. And yeah, there's a lot of awesome uses of parts and stuff that goes into this. And I gave it a 10. Easily a 10. So, yeah, technique out of 10. We add all that up and you get a 38 divided by 4, and you get a 9.5. So that is the final evaluation. We're not going to talk about, well, we're not going to count the price score since it's kind of no longer available. Although what I saw online, it's not going for a bad price on the second hand market. So original price was $69.99, has 968 pieces, almost 1,000 pieces for this. Granted, there's some little ones, but there was a lot of big stuff as well. You end up doing the math and you get 7 cents per piece, which is really good. And originally, this would have been borderline excellent. I think if the set just had like some of the gripes I had with it, if it was slightly tweaked, I would have almost given this an excellent. But it's definitely a good set, so it's would have gotten a G for a price. The thing is, it's a lot different looking than a lot of their other mechs, and that makes it even better. Nothing like having some unique looking mechs, and I'm quite happy with it. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you're new here, sub, and so you can see more, and yeah, hit that notification button too so you get notified when more comes out. I also have Facebook and Twitter links down below in the description if you want to follow me on there, because you will get notifications a lot faster than YouTube gets sent out. And there's a Patreon there to check out as well, though there's not much there at the moment. So that's it for me here at the Creation Evaluation Station, reminding you that creativity is key.